It is very concerning to see the reports against Karen National Defense Organization for their defending their people from the continued attacks of the corrupt and brutal Burma regime. General Bomia was very candid in his explanation of what transpired during the incident at KawThooLei, resulting in the death of 25 plainclothes Burmese military personnel. The recent human rights article criticizing KNDO fails to share the evidence of the uniforms and the ranks that were in the vehicles of these agents of the brutal Burma military. I know firsthand the situation at KawThooLei because I passed through this area in May of this year. Our team encountered them building a bridge across the water to get heavy military equipment closer into villages in Karen-controlled areas. In addition, they appear to be building a dam as well to stop water, as they typically have done to starve villagers, forcing them out of their land. Sadly, these human rights people seem to forget about all of the atrocities committed by the corrupt and brutal Burma regime. When the Burma army is questioned after committing atrocities, they simply lie 100% of the time and are never held accountable. Yet when the true victims try to stand up against the brutal regime to defend their people, they are targeted for a situation that pales in comparison to what the Burma military continues to inflict on our ethnic people and their own people after this coup. Have we quickly forgotten how the Burma military was firing upon humanitarian aid staff trying to get food and medicine across the Salween River to the villagers victimized by the corrupt and brutal Burma regime, as the Burma regime continually bombs them from the air in 5th Brigade? Do they forget that the Burma military routinely sends soldiers in plain clothes into villages to identify targets and also to gather intelligence to later decimate these civilians? Do they forget that the villagers, when they see drones flying in the air from the Burmese military, it is almost always followed up the next day with bombing from the air? Yet these human rights activists are silent against the Burmese regime. Instead, they opt to target the minority small group simply trying to fend off a brutal and barbaric Burma military regime. Because our Karen are honest people, they own up to their actions, while the brutal Burma regime lies and continues to get away with it. How disgraceful for anyone to compare the actions of the Karen National Defense Organization to that of the oppressive Burma regime that not only is trying to rid the region of our ethnic people, but is also killing their own people. The last two men standing in defending our people are General Bajahe and General Bomia. The greatest evil in the Burma Thai region is the corrupt Burma generals that must be stopped. We have seen their coup, and now we see that they have co-opted the Thai Prime Minister and the Thai King, resulting in young people rising up in Thailand because they're tired of the oppression. They want freedom, and they're willing to die for it. My prayer and commitment is to the ethnic people of the region that are fighting against the corrupt Burma regime, and the Thai young people courageously standing against the Thai King and Prime Minister, both of which are now holding hands with the corrupt Burma generals. I salute you for standing up against this continued oppression. We must continue to pray for General Bomia and General Bajahe as they continue to defend our people.